Okay, hi everyone. Um, this video would be for anyone who is probably going through a mental health issue at this moment and doesn't see a way out. This is also for people who have had mental health issues in the past and have overcome them. They can probably relate to what I'll say and probably add on if they have any more inputs. This is my first time making such a video, and I'll be completely authentic with you. I'll post this video unedited. It would be completely raw. And yep, that's it. That's the intro. And this is not an entertaining video of any sort. So if you think you'll find a quick shot of dopamine in this video, that's not the case. I'll be clear. This will be a long video. This will be my life journey till now. What challenges I have faced, what things I have done to overcome those challenges, and just how my life has been. It's very close to my heart to share all of this. So you probably, I would be grateful if you would pardon any mistakes that I make during this conversation. So I did my high school in the year 2012. I started in 2012 and I ended it in 2014. So it was I had a big group of friends, and I knew they were very toxic in nature. It was just a situation where I knew they were bad for me, and I'll explain to you what I mean by toxic and bad. I knew they were bad for me, but it was just so that there was no one else in my class, and I didn't have the courage to have no friends. So I was just friends with them for the heck of it. They were the cool people in the school, in the class. So I had to, befriend them. By toxic, I mean that there was never, so they were not good at studies, obviously. I, on the contrary, was somewhat decent at studies. I was relatively smarter. I was sharp. I won't say I was the most studious, I was the most intelligent, but I was sharp. I knew I had something in me that was different from them. We used to bring each other down in any way possible in the name of having fun with each other, be it calling out our parents' names or just making fun of each other for whatever names, calling names, bullying each other, getting into fights, bullying other people, and small thefts. I felt horrible because this is not my upbringing. So that group would steal ice creams from vendors and they would just run away. And I was part of that group. I would sometimes pay to the vendor, but I didn't have so much money at that time that I could pay every time. And after paying, they would laugh at me like, "Ooh, see, look at that loser." Okay, that's just me trying to give you a mental idea of what my group of friends were in high school. So it was not a group I would be proud to mention or I would want to stay in contact with. So as soon as my high school was done, I lost touch with them. I didn't go to college. I had a plan of pursuing chartered accountancy course right after my high school ends. I did my enrollment in the foundation course of. So there are 3 stages in the chartered accountancy course in India. I live in India. The first stage is foundation, then there is the intermediate stage, and then the final stage. So I enrolled myself in the intermediate. So we used to have these classes of 300 people. And let me say this before I move on. While I was friends with those children, with those people, I didn't realize I had become like them, knowingly or not. So that's the sad truth. You become who you hang around with. So I got myself enrolled in the foundation stage of CA, of Chartered Accountancy course. We had a class of 300 people, children. We were seated in chairs. We would have our books and notes and everything, and there would be one teacher standing in the front on a podium and teaching us the relevant subject. The first day of that class, I found a similar group of friends. So the same toxic. I didn't know that, they were toxic at that point. They were just fun to hang around with. We cracked jokes and did everything that a studious person should not be doing. And it was fun for 1 or 2 weeks, but slowly I started to understand that this is the same level of toxicity that I have just gone through, and I was blessed to get out of, and I have fallen right back into it. And I tried to understand why that's happening, and that was because I was attracting those people, those kind of people back into my life. We had a lot of fun. Not to say, so I won't say we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of distraction. I was laughing with them. We used to make fun of each other. Again, the same level of toxicity existed, but in those moments, sometimes it looks good. It feels good to have a group of friends in a class of 300 children who don't know each other at all. So we were just like a group of alpha males walking around, big dudes, and we didn't study. We played games. We sat at the last few rows in the class, and we would not study. We would crack jokes at each other. We would laugh. And you know what? That foundation, the first stage of chartered accountancy is such that you have 3 months to prepare. And there is one exam every 6 months. So the first exam, that's the minimum. The minimum gap is 3 months after your high school ends. So the first month went on like this. We were just cracking jokes at each other. We were just laughing our asses off. The teachers noticed. They gave us punishments, but we thought it was fun at the moment. So but soon I realized what happened was that we had a mock test. Okay, we had a mock test, and I failed miserably in one of the subjects. And the teacher kind of knew me to be a little sharper than the group I was hanging around with. So he had a look of disappointment in his eyes, and I saw that. But that didn't change me. I still had my friends. Even if I flunked the mock test, I knew I would I would score well in the finals. That's fine. So what happened was I went back home, and I told my father that this happened. I didn't score well in the mock test, and he didn't scold me or anything. He just had a tear roll down his eye, and he just had a very sad and disappointing look. And he said that, I remember that face so vividly right till now. And he said that this is not how I thought things would turn out. And that's the only statement. He said it in Hindi. But that's the only statement that he said. I remember it like yesterday, although it's been good 7-8 years now. More than that. It's been 9 years. that statement changed me. I understood that I was doing something very wrong, and this was probably the only course that could save my future, secure my future. Um, yeah, that was one life changing, life turning event for me. The very next day, I reached the class 15-20 minutes early. I remember I sat in the first 4-5 rows. I was alone in that space. I didn't know anyone who used to sit on the first few rows. So I was sitting alone. I was feeling extremely lonely. I forgot to mention one point. During the high school, the toxic friends which I mentioned, they also had, how do you say it? Certain criminal instincts. Okay. So they would get into fights. So it was some sort of security that I had developed while staying with them, that as long as I am with my clan, with my gang, with my group, I am okay. I'm secure. So no one would touch me. No, it's like a gang in a way. So everything that day was taken away from me. The high school friends went, and these 5-6 group of friends which I had, the new friends which I had made in the classes, the new classes, I left them, and I went and sat in the front rows. And I remember feeling extremely lonely and scared for some reason. It's hard to describe, and it's hard for me to explain to you how exactly I felt, but it was just a pure feeling of loneliness. Like, I had no friends. So my high school friends were gone, they were gone, the new friends were gone. I had no one else in my life, to be frank. I had left everyone. I felt extremely scared. Scared of, I don't know what. I scared of being lonely. But I knew that God, so somehow one event happened. Someone, I didn't know who that person was. He just came. His name was Vivek. He just came and sat right next to me. And he greeted me with a very nice hello. And when he was coming at me, I kind of saw a divinity in him. It was like God was walking towards me and just telling me that I am with you. Yeah, it was beautiful. So he just came and sat right next to me, and he became my friend. He didn't talk or anything. We just sat and studied. He was not good at studies at all. He was not sharp. He was not smart. So he sat quietly and did try to study, but he was just not. I don't know. He was just not smart. So he used to go out for lunch with me. I was scared of having lunch alone. That was one of my other insecurities. I was just insecure about being alone. And leaving that friend group was me tapping into that insecurity completely bang on. But God sent his Messiah in the form of Vivek, and he would just keep quiet. He would let me study. He had no intention of having fun in the class. He was there to study as much as he could, and he would let me study also. And that was probably the only thing I wanted at that moment, to have someone in my life who would just let me study and be there for me as a friend. who would have lunch with me, and that's it. Okay, so the exams came after 2 more months, and I gave the exams, and with that insecurity of loneliness somewhere, I'll tell you what, it took a toll on me. Although I had Vivek as a friend who would sit beside me and have lunch with me, it was a completely different shift from my old lifestyle to this one, where I had a lot of security and validation. I had a good group of friends, good in the sense a good number of friends, to being the sole ranger. Many of you won't be able to relate to this because maybe you have not had such friends, maybe you have always been strong enough to be alone, or I don't know what the case may be, but that was it. So it was taking a toll on me, the loneliness. So it slowly crept into depression. I was extremely scared for some reason that someone will come and beat me up. Someone from my high school, some enemies that I had made, verbally abusing each other, etc. They would come and just stand below my house and call me and ask me to come down. That fear just, it sounds stupid now, but at that moment it was very real. I think everyone has something or the other which maybe 5 years after they have experienced that stuff looks very stupid, but in that moment it's very real, and it can't be ignored. That's the best way to put it. It took a toll on my mental health. I was at a very vulnerable and low point of my life. Yeah. I kept my chin up. I I did a lot of things. I would listen to motivational videos. That was probably the only thing keeping me sane in that moment, because all I did for 15 out of 24 hours I would just study. I would sleep 7 hours. I would eat. I won't watch television along with eating. I would watch some YouTube videos about my lectures or my course. I had deleted every social media. I didn't have WhatsApp, I didn't have Facebook, I deleted Instagram, didn't have Snapchat, anything. So everything was deleted. So I knew that this was a do or die kind of thing. So I burned my bridges and I just went into it. My exams came. I gave my exams. I was still anxious. I was very I didn't have a good mental setup while I was giving my exams, but I gave them and I did very well. I scored a distinction in all the exams, which is a good above average kind of score. So it's like 90 percentile or something, which was good in CA Foundation. Okay. The next stage was inter. So inter is like 10 months after the CPT result comes. So the result of CPT, what I mean by CPT is basically the foundation. It was also known as CPT back then. So the results of foundation come around 1.5 2 months. I don't remember the exact timelines now. 1.5 2 months after the exams. So during those 1.5 2 months, I would just listen to motivational videos. I would listen to Les Brown. I would listen to sermons from T.D. Jakes, from Joel Osteen. Yeah. I still remember I would listen to Eric Thomas a lot. I still remember Les Brown's one quote: birds of a feather flock together. You run around with losers, you end up a loser unconsciously. You pick up their ways, you pick up their habits, you pick up, most importantly, their attitude about life. If you're around cynical and negative people all the time, you become cynical and negative. That just imprinted on my mind. That was beautiful. And he said it in such a flawless manner. I listened to his motivational speeches a lot. I've just probably heard all of his motivational speeches. That's not just Les Brown. I heard Brian Tracy. I heard a lot of people I don't recall right now. But Joel Osteen, T.D. Jakes, oh my god, such a beautiful speaker. I just reconnected, or probably I connected with God on that level for the first time. I remember I had one, how do you call it? I had one statue, this small statue of Lord Krishna in my room, and I would just sleep next to it. Because I was so depressed, I was so lonely. I needed a friend, and I would just make him my friend. Yeah. Anyway, so I cleared my foundation. So then we had to start our preparation for intermediate exams, which is a lot more difficult, 10x more difficult than foundation. So I remember taking 8 12-hour classes every single day and doing homework after coming home. It was hell. And besides that, I was just coping. I used to go by metro. I didn't have any friends again in that moment. I refused to accept any new people in my life. I kept myself completely alone. Yeah, I would just go alone in metro. I had to travel. I would study something. I would go to the class. I would stay completely focused. No friends, no girls, no nothing. Completely focused. I remember a couple of people telling me that few of the girls had a couple of girls had a crush on me, and some of them even tried to talk to me, but probably I just I didn't pay enough attention to them, and maybe in that moment they thought that I had some kind of an attitude. That's not the case if you're watching right now. It was just that I was going through a mental thing, and I wanted to just cope up with myself and study. That's it. So I continued this journey. I kept on listening to this was a phase of the 9 months IPCC, 8-9 months which I prepared. Study was one thing, okay. I was studying, I won't go into that. I was studying 14-15 hours every day. But I had that feeling, because my mental health was not in the perfect shape like it is probably for most of the people. I had that feeling, why me? Like, everything is perfect with me. I have my parents, I have a house, I have a comfortable life. Then why is it happening to me? And the second thing which came to my mind all the time was, will this stay forever? And you don't know how damaging that thought is. Just to kind of keep on going around in circles. Is this how it will stay to the end? Like, is this the kind of mental and emotional state that I'll always be till the day I die? Because this is not a life I like. I won't get too personal. I don't want to get too personal, but this is just to give you a brief idea of what was going on in my head. Probably some of you can relate. Yep. So I didn't give up. I don't know what kept me going. All these motivational speeches, they just kept on playing in my head. I would hear something, and I had 30 minutes fixed that I would listen to someone daily. Like, be it Les Brown, be it Eric Thomas, be it some sermons from T.D. Jakes or Joel Osteen. A lot of other people, but these were the four people I used to listen a lot to. I would listen to something daily for 30 minutes at the very least. That just kept me going, and slowly, very slowly, I started after 8-9 months. So this went on for a good 8-9-10 months. So when my exams were approaching, the intermediate exams were approaching, I was again not in the best mental state. I gave my exams, and I cleared my exams in the very first attempt. There are two groups. I cleared both the groups, but during that phase between the exams and the results, I read one book. If you know Eckhart Tolle, there's a book he has written, The Power of Now. I have not seen or experienced anything close to what, or the mannerism in which he has described that book. Like, you have to read it to believe it, and you just can't read it like a novel. You read it one page a day and implement and stop and pause to analyze what he writes. That is the most beautiful book, hands down, that I've read till now. It changed my perspective towards life. Just to give you a brief about what that book says, it's like even this pause which I just gave right now, the 3-4 seconds, our minds went into a monkey mind state. This is what he calls the monkey mind. We started thinking like something or the other, like why is he silent, why is he not speaking? So that's the monkey mind which he talks about, and he asks us to watch our mind from a third person's perspective. So look at it from here, like you're standing right here and you're looking at your brain and you're looking at how the thoughts are going on and on in a pattern. And just the step one to becoming present, being in the now, is to observe that you are in a vicious circle of thinking and your mind is controlling you. He explains it much better than how I have explained it right now, because I just won't do enough justice if I try to replicate his teachings in any way through this video. You have to read it to believe it. It's mind-boggling. It's amazing. If you are a person who overthinks a lot, who has insomnia, it's a solution to all the mental problems, I would say. this is the best book, um, hands down, I have read on self-development and mental health. But you have to apply it very slowly. You can't be quick with it. It's not a 20-day solution book. You have to be very slow with it. You have to let it sink in. Enough said. I read that book, and you know what? I didn't have social media even after my exams ended. I didn't install anything. I would sit in my balcony and I would just stare at the trees for 3-4 hours continuously. A normal person would say that he's going crazy. But I would tell you that just being present in that particular moment and watching the traffic without giving a name to what I was seeing, just letting it be for what it is, just letting that bird be for what it is and not calling it an eagle, just watching it and observing it without naming it, just letting it be, like not trying to judge it in any way, not trying to be in awe of it, or just watching it as it goes by. That was it was beautiful. I would just sit there for 3-4 hours and do nothing. I would forget to eat, and it was sort of a meditative state. I don't want to be too hoo ha ha about it, but what else is meditation? You're just being there with yourself and doing nothing else. So I had those 2 months of complete bliss, and I would say that made me a very different person, because that gave me the power to control my mind instead of the mind controlling me. And I can make a separate video about that. A lot of topics can be covered, but I would like to this video would just be my experiences and how I overcame them. So I would just not take it up further than this. My results came, I cleared both the groups, and the next stage was finals. I got myself enrolled in finals. Finals are 5x more tougher than the prior stage, which was the intermediate. There is a practical training of 2.5 years involved in finals that you have to undergo, and 6 months after that training, probably the timelines have changed now. I gave it a while back, but 6 months after that training ends, you can give your exams. So I had never experienced college life in my life, because immediately after high school I joined this course. So I had not gone to college, but those 2.5 years was my college life. I had a blast. I made new friends. I gained confidence, a lot of confidence, and it was not automatic. I did a lot of things to develop my interpersonal skills to a good extent. I am not an extrovert in any way. I can adapt. Right now is a different stage, but I'm talking about then. At that point, I was not an extrovert. I was very new to a professional environment. Okay, so practical training is basically under a qualified chartered accountant. So you work in their company, in their firm, and you learn stuff that chartered accountants normally do. So I would drive to that place every day, to the office, and you get paid in peanuts, so I won't even talk about that. It was somewhere around $100 a month that I was being paid. Yeah. So yeah, that was college for me. Those 2 years I had a blast. I learned everything that I don't regret it in any way. It was the one of the best time of my life. I had a blast. After 2 years, the principal under whom, the qualified chartered accountant under whom I worked, they moved to Dubai, and I had to take a transfer to another chartered accountant. I worked under him for six odd months. Then the finals came. I was so. Have you heard of the concept flow? So I was in the flow that I have done so well in foundation and intermediate, and final. I had this notion that final is a little extra than intermediate. Right? It's pretty much the same, and there's just some extra stuff. A lot of things are repeated. Excuse me. So I studied for what? I'll tell you what happened exactly. I got addicted to a video game. Another twist. There was a game by the name of Mafia City. Yep. And it's a good game, no doubt about that. But that was not the time for me to play. Do I regret it? No. I'll tell you why in a bit. I got addicted to that game. I would play it. There was no time. I would sometimes be awake till 3:30 a.m. in the morning, still playing that game. I would play it for good 12 to 14 hours a day. And I would study 1.5, 2 hours. I was just so complacent that I would crack these exams because I had scored good number of marks in my prior exams. So I continued this to the very end, like till 2 days before my exams. I was playing that game for 12 to 14 hours. Probably one day before the exams, I studied for 4 instead of 2 hours. So sorry, I had to cut the video. I was afraid this was going to happen because I expect a call at this time. Anyway, I lost my flow. So I can make another video on that. How exactly I prepared, what was the turmoil, because that was a completely different phase. That was another obstacle I had to overcome. Yep. Anyway, that ended. I gave both groups, and simultaneously, just after giving my exams, I joined one of the big fours. So I joined EY in a profile similar to what I had done my articleship in. And I was not a qualified chartered accountant by then, but I was just so damn sure that I'll clear it. So yeah, Bhagavad Gita. I read Bhagavad Gita, and I just memorized, or that particular quote stuck to my heart. It was in Sanskrit, or rather Hindi. कर्म कर, कर्म की चिंता मत कर. So the English translation of that is, put in the effort without expecting a result. कर्म कर, कर्म की चिंता मत कर. फल की, sorry, I messed it up. कर्म कर, फल की चिंता मत कर. So karma is karma, do the work. Phal is the result, don't expect the result. I'm not going to edit anything, so it would be raw. I just did the karma, and I was just so sure that I would be. I knew I had put in everything, so why I did what I did was because at the end of it, I wanted to ask myself, could I have done anything more? And if I would have replied yes to that, then that would have been a failure on my part. I would have been a failure. That is why I could sit and study 14-15 hours every day. So yeah, I cleared 2 months after my joining EY. the results came out and I cleared both the groups with distinction in a lot of subjects. I didn't get a rank, but I cleared in a span of preparation of 6 months basically. I prepared from scratch because the prior two attempts were just nothing. That's about it, man. Thank you. Thank you for listening to whoever stuck to this point. And it was a very personal story. I have a lot more things that I can share about my experiences during that phase. That phase has literally. I remember someone told me this, that CA will prepare you for life. Like, if you do CA, there would be nothing that you can't do in life. And I know that now, that it is very true. So yeah. This was beautiful. Probably 2-3 years from now I would watch this video back, and or maybe 10 years down the line, when my memory won't be so good about all these things, I would watch this video and I would feel good about it, regardless of the obstacles that came in my way. I had a way to overcome them. I'm thankful to God and my parents for this. Thank you. And I'll probably be launching some help sessions or classes. I don't know. It's just an idea for students and even for professionals who have any mental issues that they wish to discuss or they want to talk about. Let's see, it's just an idea. I want to see what kind of response is there. If you guys want me to help you in any way, because I would certainly love to help you. If you have any mental issues, I'll be making a lot more videos, so stay tuned. But if you want to book a one-on-one session with me to probably share your experiences with me, and if you want, I can give you some suggestions or advice also, I would be happy to help you. My Instagram and nothing else. My Instagram alone would be linked to this video, if I remember it while posting this video. That's it. Thank you for watching and have a very good day, and bless you. Thank you.